This video is just intended to be a short video explaining how to denote intervals in mathematics. There's three different ways: the number line notation, inequality notation, and interval notation. So we're just going to do a few examples here, and I'll show you all three for each example. Okay? So all numbers greater than 7. Let's look at the number line first. All right, if we want to write that in number line notation, and we want all numbers greater than 7, notice it's not equal to 7, greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. So I'll put 7 on a number line, open circle, because it's not equal to, arrow over to the right, everything greater than 7. If I want inequality notation, I just write x greater than 7. So there's the second method. Okay, and the third method is interval notation, and in interval notation, we would write it like this. We'd say 7, comma, infinity, with parentheses on each side. So the parenthesis, remember, in interval notation means that you're not including 7. Okay? Let's do the next example here. Real numbers between -4 and 6. So for the number line, look like this. Number line, put -4 on there, put 6 on there. Between -4 and 6, so that means not including -4 and 6. So open circles, and then it'd be shaded in between. All right? For the inequality notation, we would write this: -4 less than, just less than, x, which is less than 6. Okay, so that's the inequality notation, no equals to. And remember, we always write the arrows kind of pointing to the left. The inequality symbols pointing to the left. That means between -4 and 6, or whatever numbers you're between. And then for interval notation, we would just write -4, comma, 6. This kind of looks like a point, but if we're talking about an interval on a number line, then this means between -4 and 6, and we use parentheses to show that we're not including -4 and 6. All right, so let's go to the next one. Real numbers below -2 and greater than or equal to 19. So let's look at that on the number line first. Just below -2. Okay, well, here's -2 on the number line. Not including, so it's an open dot, and then an arrow to the left, or shading to the left. Then, and also greater than or equal to 19. So we'll put number 19 on the number line with a solid dot, indicating that we're including it. For inequality notation, we would write x has to be less than -2, and also x has to be greater than or equal to 19. For interval notation, we would write this. We'd go from -infinity up to -2, parenthesis, because we're not including -2, and then we would go from 19, and we're going to use a brace, because we are including 19. We go from 19 up to infinity. Okay, and we never put a brace around infinity, because you can never get to infinity. Sometimes you might see in math books this symbol here. That means the union of both of those sets. I'm not going to be super picky about using that notation, though. So this is really all I'm looking for interval notation on this kind of problem. Okay. Let's try the last example here. All real numbers except 5 and 7. So everything but 5 and 7 will look like this. On a number line, we put 5 and 7 on there. And we're going to shade everything except 5 and 7. Okay, so it's going to be everything from here to here, everything to the right, everything to the left. All right, for inequality notation, we would say x has to be less than 5, between 5 and 7, and x has to be greater than 7. Okay, so we kind of describe every one of those intervals using inequality notation. There, in fact, let's put a little divider around this. Okay. All right, and the last one, interval notation, we would write this. We would say from -infinity up until 5, not including 5, then we'd go from 5 to 7, and then we'd go from 7 to infinity. And that's how we'd write that in interval notation. Right? And that's it for how we denote different intervals in mathematics.